Welcome students of Form 4. My name is Theo Martin and I work for the SKAIH Pre-University, Hoofdding Papiamento, SKAIH Pre-Universitario, and I work with the CSEC system. So if you're watching this from Barbados, Jamaica, or even Guyana, perhaps this will be useful for you guys too. Today we're talking about new agricultural enterprises and industrialization after times of emancipation. And the verbs that we're using today, taken from syllabus of course, are that of explaining, the why, and assessing, looking at its pros, its cons, and looking at its advantages and disadvantages. Those two verbs are central to this topic. Then, the objective. Explaining the factors that led to the establishment and growth of the extractive and service industries in the Caribbean up to 1985. By the way, my year of birth. Okay, let's look at the question coming from myself. Question 12. For the people I teach. Industrial development factors. That's one of the content that is written in syllabus. I didn't think of that by myself. Describe in a minimum, so more is better, of 6 sentences. See people? 6 sentences. The consequences of industrialization for the sugar plantations and the laborers in the Caribbean after the year of British emancipation, after the year 1838. If you want to look it up in your study guide, page 105, as I said, in your study guide. If you want to look up the facts and the theory behind it, you can find it there. Let's look at my answer in 3 parts. Part 1, the consequences of industrialization for the sugar plantations and laborers were. Here I come back to the question. So beginning with the open answer is always referring back to the question. It's always a good trick to begin with. The consequences of industrialization for the sugar plantation and the laborers were that laborers moved to the bigger cities. The new industries in those bigger cities offered higher salaries. The laborers often left the sugar plantations. Laborers and peasants formed together new towns, free villages also called, and in some cases also former indentured laborers joined the mix in these new towns that arose. Labor was still cheap in these larger villages, although the wage of laborers had improved. And now to wrap it up as a conclusion, from time to time, inflation, so that money became less worth, caused problems for the laborers. In those cases, there were protests. And the slaves couldn't protest. They were put into jail, got death sentences. But as laborers in the larger cities, they had unions, for instance, later on, and they could protest against the low salaries or the unsafe circumstances of their labor. So this is a minimum of 6 sentences. I've got 9 or even 10. It goes longer than is minimum required of you, but that's good. I hope you found my answer useful. That is over there. If you want to subscribe, you can do that below. If you have a question, you can also do that below. If you want to ask me the question in person, that's great too. And if you want to do that by using Windows 365, or if we're in school year 23-24, you can also use still Google Classroom, but that will be over in school year 24-25. I will quiet my dog that's outside, and I hope to see you in class and in person.